What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Oh shit, I forgot to maximize it. Oh well. Anyway, this is called the creepiest cryptid footage ever caught on camera by Mr. What? Most Amazing Elite. Sounds like an Xbox Xbox Live username. But anyway, let's get into this. If you don't know what cryptids are, it's kind of like just I guess what you would call mythical monsters. Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, etc. Stuff like that. Slender Man, all that. Are they real? I like the stories with them. They're a lot of fun to watch and listen to. So anyway, here we go. Let's go.
Skinwalkers, mysterious figures roaming through the wilderness alone in the middle of the night, and ghastly forms bobbing in the river.
Oh shit.
These are disturbing creatures caught on trail cams in 2024.
This is gonna get worse with the invention of AI. I swear to God, it's gonna get bigger. I swear.
So just what in the hell are we looking at here? I don't know, but I can say for sure that I don't like it. They look like the ghost girl from Ringu poking her head out of the water. They're pale with long black hair covering most of their faces, if these even are faces we're looking at here. It's hard to tell. You'll also notice they seem to have glowing reflective eyes. So the story behind this clip is that back in April of this year, a trail cam was set up right at the edge of a river where locals had been experiencing strange things, telling stories of dark spirits lurking in the water. Now, as for where the footage comes from, I've seen comments saying it's a river called Namor Ong.
Could it actually be people? I don't know. Look weird as fuck. Trying to think.
I tried to look up Namor Ong and I can't find any info on that place. So
hello,
please let
sir.
me know in the comments.
I wasn't expecting somebody to show
about
up.
that, or if Namor Ong even exists at all. Anyway, a pretty spooky clip. This next piece of trail cam footage comes from a TikToker named The Most Mandy, who posted this eerie footage captured by the security camera outside her home in the Appalachian Mountains.
Are you good?
So we see a figure in a long white robe moving across her property. At one point saying, "Let me in this very craggly, almost witch-like voice.
Wait.
She gets closer and closer to the house until the motion sensors go off and she retreats back into the shadows. Here's another clip taken by a camera at another part of the house. We can hear the woman better in this clip, not that we really want to. Well, you know what? She sold me. I'd have let her in. I mean, how could anyone turn down such a soothing, friendly voice like that?
It's like a smoker's voice. I think that's just somebody on heavy drugs. Like heavy drugs.
Back in June, a hunter placed a trail camera in the woods expecting to pick up animals. Instead, he captured this odd scene. At about 2 a.m., a figure wearing what looks like a long dress steps out from the shadows and
it does look like a person wearing a dress. I can see it now. They're just holding it out like that. The fuck?
The camera. Who was this person and what were they doing in the middle of the woods at
drugs, heavy drugs, again.
2 in the morning? Well, they were running from someone or something.
And the wolves that they're seeing because they're on so much drugs.
As the video continues, we see a dark mass crawl out of the depths of the
never mind.
As the thing gets closer, we notice it's crawling. It looks like it has long, dark hair, reflective eyes. The rest of its face is hard to make out, but there's something not quite right about whatever this thing is.
Do you think it's a couple getting kinky by role-playing Red Riding Hood? I don't know. I mean, shit. If he catches her, he might just be, just pounding her, not with her fist. If you know what I mean. Yeah, there could just be more drugs.
This next video is also captured by a trail cam in the Appalachian Mountains. It was
these trail cams need to start getting up to 4K, because goddamn, if they're capturing all this shit, we need to get it in higher definition to see what it actually is. It looks like, just from this, it's like, is this the beginning of the human centipede? Because if it is, I don't want to see the rest of it.
Posted by Elizabeth Maynard 98, who captured something incredibly unsettling moving across her property.
It looks like it's got something in its mouth too.
When they first pass by, it's hard to make out what these things are, but they're clearly.
It looks like it's either wearing something around the neck that's like jutting out like a toilet seat. I could see it being a toilet seat. Or it has it in its mouth. And then looks like there's another person behind
walking
it.
on all fours. They move off camera before turning around and passing the camera again, this time
Oh, they're looking right at the camera. It looked like, because I think he just turned his head to look at the
They
camera.
move off camera before turning around and passing the camera again.
Yeah, it did. Look at that. Look at you. So they probably know that the camera's there, and they're doing this just to fuck with whoever's.
This time walking on their hind legs, looking much more humanoid, but no less
just fucking with whoever lives there, or whoever has the camera. I don't know.
disturbing. They're incredibly thin with glowing
They
eyes
are.
and look to be hairless, almost like your classic stereotypical alien. They also walk with this very unnatural gait, taking these itty-bitty little steps, almost like they're not used to walking.
I feel like they're doing it on purpose.
Some commenters also
points.
think these creatures look like rakes, skinwalkers, or possible wendigos, but what do you all think?
I'm gonna say
This is a
Wendigo
very
in there.
strange post from about 9 months back by Reddit user What Did You Do, Ray? Who was seeking out help about the odd behavior he was experiencing with his trail camera, writing, "This trail cam is at a Christmas tree farm in Bedford, Pennsylvania. There are no buildings, lights, or structures in the area at all where this cam is. Every night for the past 2 months, my cam takes a picture at exactly 12:05 and 1 second in the AM. There was never
Really?
anything in the pics. No
Exactly the same, down to the second? Whoa. This is 12:05:02 down here. That's a 2. That ain't a 1. You liar.
deer, squirrels, foxes, etc.
I'm just
Recently,
kidding.
the pictures have shown a red light being cast across
Oh.
the top of
Yeah, that's just 01.
the trees. One pic shows the red light to be extremely bright and def in a circle around the trees. And then there's the picture from March 5th of 2024 that shows 2 blurs, one directly above one of the trees and
Oh,
a very
yeah.
similar blur to the right on the ground
see
just
those.
off the road. The odder thing is that this picture's timestamp is at 12:05 and 2 seconds. It's the only picture in the entire series of pics from the past 2 months that was taken 1 second later. Now, he also posted in the comments later that he'd switched the camera to take video instead of pictures at
Ooh.
one point, and that the camera would successfully take video at any other time of day
Except for 12:05:01.
a.m., where
Damn.
it wouldn't take video when the sensor went off at that time, only
Really?
taking a picture. Definitely strange. So the question is, what's causing this camera to go off? Well, something was hovering above the trees, casting a red light at the exact same time of night every night for 2 months. In mid-2023, farmers near Oruro, Bolivia started spotting
Shit, it's time to go camping then. See what happens. I'll never hear from them again.
something weird roaming their fields. One drone video caught this hunched, dark figure standing upright
thing?
in a crop field. Carlos Flores, who first spotted it in the footage, said, "It is strange. It looks like a dog, but it has a hump further back. Looking
How
at the
far
images, it has
in the air
same
is it?
position as the chupa."
Is it not one of those cows? How far up in the air was this drone? That's what I want to know. Like, what's the distance? Could it not have been one of these cows? Like this one in the back. This black with white on it on the back. Could it not be that cow in the field? Fucking out of.
Well, this creepy drone footage seemed to trigger fears that the legendary goat sucker had struck again.
Am I
And
crazy?
A lot of that had to do with the timing of this. Farmers in the area had been finding dead livestock drained of their BLOOD.
Why are you
Some
spelling
of
out
them
blood?
took to installing floodlights around their ranches, hoping to either scare it off or actually catch it on camera. The footage itself is not super clear. I mean, it's taken from very far away, but
It
you
is.
can definitely see this dark hunched shape in the center of the frame. Motionless
Yes.
at first, then shifting, almost like it realizes the drone is watching and scurries.
Is it not a cow?
Imagine strolling on a Long Island beach and finding this thing washed up on the
Oh.
shore. Well, in July of 2008, a woman named Jenna Hewitt and
Wasn't.
2 friends
I feel like they said that was a fucked up turtle. I don't know.
were walking along Ditch Plains Beach in Montauk when they came across this bloated, hairless corpse with a weird beak-like snout and long limbs. Jenna's friend Christina snapped the infamous photo, and the image blew up online within days. People couldn't figure out
Didn't the corpse disappear when they went back the next day?
what it was. Some thought it was some kind of deformed raccoon, maybe a sea turtle without
Yeah.
its shell. And of course, some people immediately jumped to secret government experiments.
Oh yeah, there
That's
was
because
some
this was
theories
pretty
like that.
close to the old Plum Island Animal Disease Center. Some people were saying that maybe it escaped from some shady lab over there. No one ever officially confirmed what it was. To this day, people still argue about whether it was just a decomposed raccoon or
Maybe
something else. Apparently, this next piece of footage was taken somewhere in Bolivia on April 20th
looks
of
like a blimp.
2020. The video starts off pretty normal. You see a nice view of the trees, you hear birds in the background, but then you notice it.
A
There's something
UFO?
hovering in the sky. It's not a bird, there's no flapping of wings, plus it's way too
I mean,
big
yeah,
to
it's a
be bird
UFO.
anyway. It's certainly not a plane. The object seems to just drift downward, slowly making its way toward the trees before finally vanishing into the tree line. Now, what could it be? A drone? Well, the object is far away,
Who
but
knows?
still pretty easy to make out. This
Nobody knows. That's why it's called a UFO. It's like, it's weird. People, when you hear UFO, they immediately think aliens. No, UFO don't mean alien spaceship. UFO means unidentified flying object. That thing was definitely flying. It was an object. And do we know what the fuck it is? No. So it's a UFO. UFO. I feel like it didn't pronounce the F the first time, but yeah. If you don't know what the fuck it is and it's flying, it's a UFO. That doesn't mean it's an alien spaceship, though.
would have to be a pretty sizable drone, right? Well, I don't know.
Kind of looks like a
In
blimp.
October of 2024, staff at the Bristol Zoo project were going through footage from their night vision camera traps.
Ooh.
And they found something really strange. In the middle of Bear Wood, a 7.5
Bear Wood.
acre enclosure where bears, wolves, wolverines, and lynxes roam, the cameras picked
Apt
up
name.
a strange four-legged creature. It had what looked like
Looks like a
wings
cow.
and horns. Obviously, none of the zoo's animals matched it. And for weeks, people had been saying something strange was moving between the trees. Even the animals seemed spooked. Wolves and wolverines don't usually pay much attention to the usual wildlife like deer, but this time they did. They seemed spooked by something. Well, they still have no idea what this creature was. Some people think it's just
It kind of looks like a cow with a tumor on its back. Either that, extra skin flaps.
a deer caught in like a weird angle, maybe with motion blur, making the ears look kind of like wings, but others
Maybe.
think maybe Bristol now has its own local legend. Well, it's not
Fucking
often we
cow.
get news about
Cryptid.
Nessie, but
What the
here
fuck?
we are. Just back in
That's-
January,
no.
something strange showed up on one of the live webcams overlooking Loch Ness. A regular visitor named Andy caught it
That was
moving
not
near
real.
the shore, heading towards Sherry Island, then turning around and slipping back out into deeper
Drag
water
from
before
top
vanishing.
to back.
He said it was cruising along for a few minutes between 4:41 and 4:48 in the afternoon. Andy's been coming to Loch Ness since the late 80s.
Oh, this is
He's
Loch
familiar
Ness?
with the environment and normal wildlife around the loch, but this was something else. The group that runs the webcam, Loch Ness Exploration, said the footage was worth sharing because it wasn't just another random wave or boat ripple. Whatever the thing was,
Or
it
log.
looked
Was
pretty
it a
big.
log?
And this isn't the first time. In August of 2023, an Irish Nessie fan named Owen O'Fadigan spotted something on a webcam as well.
O'Fadigan. Goddamn, that's the most. That's the most Irish name I've ever heard.
He described seeing a large black hump that popped up, moved across the water, then dipped back under
Where?
as a boat
Oh.
got close. Owen said fish do not have wakes. The movement was uncharacteristic of a seal or an otter. Only the Loch Ness Monster is the obvious choice. What you're looking at
Is it
here is
though?
a sonar image taken at Loch
Oh.
Ness on September 22nd, 2024. A skipper
is quite a
named
shape.
Sean Sloggy was out on Loch
I'm sorry,
Ness
what was his
in
name again?
2024. A skipper named Sean Sloggy
Sloggy.
was out on Loch Ness doing his usual rounds when
Okay.
something strange popped up on his sonar screen. Sean's been working these waters for years, but he's never seen anything quite like this. The
That is an interesting
strangeness
shape,
of it
I
was
will
chilling.
admit.
It's the sort of thing that leaves you speechless, he said. Sean was with maritime pilot Liam McKenzie that day, just
But
getting
how
ready
big
for
is that,
another boat to
supposedly?
arrive. when the sonar suddenly lit up. There was a massive object sitting about 320 feet down.
That's just a
Sean's used to
blur.
spotting all kinds of weird fish and shapes on sonar, but this thing was massive.
It
The
was?
shape
How big
looked
was it?
long and stretched out, and Sean noticed there were what seemed like air pockets inside, something you wouldn't normally see with regular fish or logs even. They tried to circle back and find it again, but whatever it was had completely disappeared. We're not sonar experts, but I've never seen anything like it, Sean went on to say.
Okay, but how is it huge? How big is huge? I'd wish I would feel better if I knew the metric or what it was, how big it was.
In October of 2015, a man named Dave Black was driving near a golf course in Little Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, when he saw something that looked like a deer or maybe a llama walking along, but then it suddenly sprouted wings and flew off into the trees. Dave managed to snap a quick blurry photo on his phone though, and sure enough, there was this dark creature with big wings and what looked like hooves dangling beneath it. Dave had no idea what he was looking at. And when news of the photo came out, he stuck to his story, insisting that he was not trying to mess with anyone, that he really saw it and had no explanation. The photo blew up online and got everyone in New Jersey talking about the Jersey Devil again, a legendary winged creature that's supposedly haunted the Pine Barrens since the 1700s. Back in November of 2007, Fresno...
I don't know why, I just don't trust that one too much. the picture of the flying goat, why does it look like it was just like the goat version of a T-pose? It was just, it looked like it was a plastic goat. It didn't look like it could move at all. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just crazy.
Homeowner known only as Jose to the media got spooked by his dogs barking at night, and he checked his security camera footage. He couldn't believe what he was looking at. The video shows this
I've seen this before.
white figure gliding across his lawn, almost like living.
I wouldn't call that gliding, but yeah.
Pants. There's no arms or torso. It's just long legs carrying a rounded, quote-unquote, head on top. Jose
it does
was
look like a pair of
freaked.
pants
Woke
just
his
walking.
brother saved the clip by pointing a camcorder at his monitor because the system would overwrite the footage. The story blew up after he shared it with Univision, and paranormal investigators also got involved.
It does look.
The History Channel covered it as part of fact or faked paranormal files.
Like there's like a pair of those old 90s, what are they called, parachute pants with the really big legs, leg openings. But yeah, it just looks like a pair of those just walking across his lawn. It's weird.
And called it unexplainable. Then in 2011, similar footage was captured at Yosemite National Park, showing two of these things together. One smaller, one larger. No one's ever figured out what they were. They're simply known as Fresno nightcrawlers. In February of 2012, farmer Pyotr Cherov, I don't know if I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but I couldn't find a video of anyone pronouncing it online. Well, anyway, he's an elderly farmer. He set up a camera by a river feeding Lake Lagerflot in East Iceland. He ended up with some pretty crazy footage. Footage that's gone on to become the best possible video evidence of the mythical Icelandic lake monster known as the Lagerflot worm. The video shows...
Does every lake in the world have a lake monster with it?
What looks like a serpentine creature drifting just under the icy water, maybe 30 to 90 feet long. The clip went viral around the world, even prompting a local panel to vote 7-6 that it was real and awarded him with a small cash prize.
I don't know. It just looks like slush. Like it's like the most of the river is like pretty, or lake, this is a lake, right? It's pretty frozen, but there's just some parts that have like a little stream like area that's like not that frozen and it's flowing water, and then the slushy ice just crumpled into that shape, or just one after the other, where it's just one large snake-like slush flowing down.
The Lagerflot worm's been part of Icelandic folklore since the 14th century.
I don't know though.
To be this massive lake monster.
What the fuck is that? It looks like it's got box. It looks like he's ready to box. Is that Kratos fighting it? That's Kratos right then. I don't remember this boss. I played both of the new God of War games, but I don't remember this. God, it looks It looks like a lamprey with the mantis shrimp and ugh.
Longer
Oh,
than a
fuck is
football
that?
field. In August of
Longer than a football
2023,
field?
photographer Shay Kelly dropped a set of images she'd been holding on to since 2018. She and her husband had been having lunch
Is it just me or is there no like countdown anymore? 'Cause it started with like 10 or something, right? Didn't it?
at an inn on Loch Ness when she caught something
More Loch
gliding
Ness.
through the water about 200 meters offshore. Shay said it was moving, quote, right to left at a steady speed, spinning and rolling at times. We never saw a head or
Spinning
neck.
and rolling
After a
at
couple
times?
minutes, it just disappeared, and we never saw it again.
Sure it's not a log?
At first, she thought it might be otters or a seal, but it never came up for air again, and it just kept moving like a serpent, she continued. Steve Feltham, a well-known Nessie hunter who's been at this for over 30 years, called the photos the most exciting surface shots in decades, saying they are the most compelling surface images of the phenomenon. They still defy explanation. The images show two rounded humps rolling through the water. There's no obvious head or neck, but it definitely doesn't look like otters or divers. Whatever this really was, Nessie or a massive eel, these are definitely some of the clearest
think
and
a
most
massive eel's
intriguing
kinda
Nessie
scarier.
photos possibly ever. Next on the list is the Portlock Bigfoot attacks. Portlock is an abandoned town in
I'm sorry, attacks? What? Yo.
Alaska, and as for why it's abandoned,
Gotta
there
listen to
are a
this.
few explanations, one of which has to do with reported attacks of giant hairy ape-like creatures. So in the 40s, the small community of Portlock, Alaska, had a string of unsettling incidents. Doll sheep hunters were disappearing, grisly discoveries of dismembered bodies were being found in the lagoon, and reports were coming in about encounters with an entity known locally as Nantinak. Bigfoot. There
that
have
is
been
big.
tales about Bigfoot, or
Shit.
Big Feet, as Hannah refers to them as, in
Big
Alaska for decades, and many still believe it's these creatures that caused the town to be abandoned. By 1949, the community of Portlock had dropped as residents left for neighboring villages. Residents have come out with tales of encountering enormous footprints, spotting a towering, hairy figure lurking in the woods,
Yeah,
and
one hairy
discovering
bastard.
mutilated bodies of those who ventured into.
Yeah, whether you believe in Bigfoot or not, but if if people are disappearing in your town and you're finding their mutilated bodies, you might want to move out, no matter what it is. Okay, whether it's an actual person, a Bigfoot, or something else, I wouldn't be staying there.
The wilderness.
Next up, we have an anonymous story that was shared with SasquatchChronicles.com by a UK woman who was visiting California on business when she stumbled upon something wild. Well, actually two something wilds, because believe it or not, while on a hike, the woman had walked right into the path of two massive Bigfoots. At first, she assumed that what she was looking at
there you
were
go,
some
that's
kind
better.
of mountain lions, but when the creature stood up on 2 feet, she realized that wasn't the case. These animals were easily over 7 feet tall.
So
They
in
were
the
working
UK now?
together to collect seaweed. They were like eating the roots and then rubbing the seaweed on their fur. I don't know. They were by the waterway where the woman had been hiking. The woman pulled out her camera to snap a few photos, but before she could, the cover on her camera lens fell and it made its way down to where the animals had been. The larger of the two was furious. He began charging at the woman, and she thought for sure that these were her last moments. But the smaller of the
Well, if they were your last moments, I would have snapped some pictures and protected the camera like that one dude that took the picture of that erupting volcano that he knew he couldn't escape from. Would have helped us.
two intervened. The two screeched at each other for a while, almost like they were speaking in some kind of gibberish language, before they retreated back to the woods. The
one hell of
woman
a
somehow made her way quickly back to her car. She really can't remember the walk there. She was so dazed, but she feels lucky to be alive. However, she regrets not getting that photograph.
Next on the list,
I'm
we
sure
have
she
Ape
does.
Canyon case. So this incident from 1924 is a tale from the Pacific Northwest of the United States that's become one of the most famous Sasquatch sightings in cryptozoology circles.
Is that what's
According
called
to the
Ape
story,
Canyon?
a group of miners claimed to have encountered a group of large, almost 7-foot tall, hairy, ape-like creatures in the
Dang.
vicinity of Mount St. Helens in Washington. The incident
nice painting,
supposedly
though.
took place in Ape Canyon, which is what it's now called. A group of miners led by Fred Beck claimed to have been attacked
Oh,
by these
shit.
mysterious creatures. Beck and his companions said that they had
This looks
shot
like
at
the
the
Hulk.
creatures in self-defense after being pelted with rocks, and later a bunch of these hairy creatures retaliated by attacking their cabin. The miners went outside the following day to find giant-sized footprints in the ground. Some believe the creatures described by Beck and his group were Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, or Big Feet, while others think it was all just a big, elaborate hoax.
What is the plural of Bigfoot, you guys? Let me know in the comments. Next up, we have the attack of the folk monster. That's not a swear word, that's the name of the monster.
Folk
and don't come
monster?
for me, but it's basically Arkansas's version of Bigfoot, or Arkansas, as James would say. The folk monster, also known as the Boggy Creek monster or the swamp stalker, is a massive bipedal ape-like creature with massive feet and a foul smell. Sound familiar? Exactly. In the spring of 1971, two young couples moved into the town of Folk, Arkansas, and rented a small house near a creek. It wasn't long before the couples noticed something wasn't right. They would often hear heavy footsteps coming from their front porch, and one night it seemed as though some kind of animal was attempting to gain access to their home. As the days went on, the pairs would often find massive three-toed footprints in the area around their house, and then one evening they saw the creatures, massive, shaggy, smelly, standing tall on 2 feet. The creature again attempted to gain entry to the couple's homes, but one of the men fired at the creature, causing it to turn on the other man, who was badly injured and required medical attention after the ordeal. The police got involved, but were unable to locate the massive animal, and this event actually marks the only medically documented attack by a cryptid on a human in North America. So, it's legit, you guys.
Next we have more
like, I hear there's a lot of stories about Bigfoot that I've heard, and everybody is always safe when they run into the cabin. Bigfoot's just pounding on the door trying to open it. What? Like, all these stories I hear of, like, Bigfoot attacks, cryptid attacks when they're in the house. These things never break a window. Like, you would think that's the easiest way to get inside. Anybody can break a window and get inside your house. Especially if they have the power to throw a freaking boulder the size of your head. Like 20 feet. You would think you'd be able to break that window no problem. Even pull the door off the hinges. But no. Never happens. You get inside, you're safe. It's just banging on the walls and the door. Never tries to break the window. Never does anything. Eventually gives up and walk away. Maybe they're smart enough to just want to scare the shit out of you. I don't know. Maybe to them it's just a prank. It's funny as hell. Hell, if I was like 7-8 foot Sasquatch, I would be doing that all day. Just fucking with people. It'd be funny to me.
Footage of a Bigfoot chasing a car, this time in Russia. Now, I say Bigfoot, there's a very good chance it's just a dude in a costume, or just some crazy person chasing the car, because it's that low quality of a video, like pretty much all Sasquatch videos are. So the footage was taken in 2016, and we see someone filming the side of a rural road with their phone camera. The people
God. This is horrible quality. What the fuck? Was this taken on a flip phone?
Already sound frantic, like they've seen something before they started filming.
Holy
then
shit.
You see this dark figure start ambling towards the car, and they drive off. But then they decide to stop the car and try to see if they can get a good shot of the creature again. Take a look.
Of course they do. Freaking
Starting
the
us
fuck
off today,
out.
we have two campers, Jan and Larry, who claim to have been attacked by Bigfoot while out camping. Like James, maybe one day. The pair had encountered another group of campers, some of which had claimed to have seen Bigfoot in the area on previous occasions, including the night before. Around midnight, all the campers went back to their respective tents. Jan and Larry had just zipped up their own tent when they began hearing footsteps coming from the bushes. Before Larry had the chance to check out where the noise was coming from, the sides of his tent began to shake. The Bigfoot was attacking them, aggressively clawing, scratching, pushing, and pulling at the tent. Eventually it moved on, but Jan and Larry will never forget that day.
How did
The
it not
pair
rip the
claimed
tent?
that there are 7 separate Bigfoots living in the area, and they've actually seen and heard the creature on separate occasions.
How do they know it's 7 separate ones? How can they tell? What?
too, and they were able to capture photos of the Sasquatch's tracks. The name of the campsite was not disclosed, but the incident happened somewhere in Wisconsin, so do with that information what you will.
This next case
Bigfoot
comes out
crossing.
of Colorado. So back in 2015, a couple were driving on a desolate road late at night when they felt something bump into their car. They backed up a bit to see what they'd hit, praying that it wasn't a person, but they never expected to see what they saw. They spotted a dark shape on the road, looking like it could have been a bear. They pulled out a phone and started filming their rear view camera, and this is what they captured.
How? So they bumped into their car. So the car was going down the road. So did they run its ass over, or did it like hit the side? Did it like start walking into the road as they passed and hit the side of the car? What? I'm kind of confused on that.
Now, whatever this thing is, it's only on camera briefly, but pausing
it's
and taking
running
a look
towards
at the thing
him.
fully upright, rushing towards the car,
Yeah.
looks pretty big. It's hard to get a sense of how big it is because it's pretty far away, but looks to be taking up quite a big part of that one lane, and it looks fairly tall. What do
He's running after them to ask for their insurance.
you guys think, though? Sasquatch, dude in a costume, a bear that's maybe learned to move like a human? Let us know down in the comments.
Not
Next
a
up, we
bear.
have Teddy Roosevelt's retelling of a Bigfoot encounter as told to him by a German hunter named Baumann. The hunter Baumann, along
So it's a story of a story of a story. Is what I'm hearing. It never goes well. Have you ever played telephone? Because yeah, the thing that whatever the last person says is never the same as what the first person said. So
with his friend had gone out into the remote section of the Montana wilderness with one goal: to trap beavers. The men were likely the only hunters in the woods at the time because, as a general rule of thumb, hunters tended to avoid the area after a fellow trapper had been found mauled in the woods a few months prior.
that's a good
Bowman
reason
and
not to
his
go back
friends
there.
Did not care. They set up
Of
camp
course
and
not.
went out to lay their traps. But when they returned to their campsite, it was ransacked. Thinking the mess had been left by a bear, the two didn't really think much of it. Bowman
Why would you not think much of it? Even if it is just a bear, that's still a fucking bear. It could still kill you. You get the fuck out of there. What? Because that bear knows where you are now. It could come back, searching for food again. You don't want to meet it. You get the hell out.
began cooking dinner, and his partner left to investigate some tracks they'd seen. They were massive, and it was clear the creature had been walking on two legs. When the pair eventually settled into their tents for the night, they were weary, and rightfully so. They were awakened by an awful smell and the sound of branches breaking around their tent. The following day, the men decided to leave the area. Bowman went to gather the beaver traps, while his partner packed up the camp. But when Bowman returned to the campsite, he was greeted by a horrific scene. His friend's body was laid out across the ground with a broken neck and bite marks all over. Bowman knew his friend was dead, and so he hightailed it out of there and lived to tell the tale.
Our next story comes to us from a deleted Reddit user.
Yep. Should have just left.
Who described their first-hand encounter with what they believe was a Sasquatch. The story goes as follows. So I was on this solo hike near a remote trail in the forest of Oregon. It was a beautiful day, sunny with a hint of a cool breeze, perfect for exploring nature. I've been on this trail before, but today something felt off from the get-go. About an hour into my hike, I started hearing these loud whooping sounds echoing through the trees. At first I brushed it off as some animal calls or maybe even other hikers goofing around, but the thing is, the sound was so intense, almost like they were coming from multiple directions.
That definitely looks like a suit.
As I kept walking, the whoops turned into something more unsettling. They sounded closer, for one. Then I heard the snapping of branches coming from up the slope, like someone or something was trudging through the underbrush nearby. I stopped in my tracks, trying to listen more closely. That's when I saw rocks being hurled down from above. Luckily, I wasn't...
Oh, isn't this the picture of the rock in the water? The still water? It's getting reflected and makes it look like it's floating.
near or close enough for them to hit me. Now my fight or flight was kicking in. I couldn't
Probably should
see
go with
anything
flight.
through the thick foliage, but whatever was making those noises was definitely close. My heart was pounding in my chest. I turned around and booked it.
Good.
I didn't catch a glimpse of
Don't be
whatever was
stupid.
out there, but I can tell you
Listen, I don't care how tough of a person you are. If there's something throwing boulders at you and you can't see them, and that's how far they're throwing that from, yeah, you ain't winning that fight. I don't care who you are. You're getting fucked up. You better fucking run.
it was the most terrifying experience I've ever had while hiking.
Next up, we have the Bigfoot attacks in the Valley of the Headless Man, which is actually in Canada. The
Valley of the Headless Man. I've heard that before. Isn't this the valley that's got like a bunch of stories about weird deaths and disappearances? I think it is. I'm not 100% sure though. I might be.
attacks began in 1908. The bodies of two headless men appeared in the river of the valley. In 1945, another corpse was found headless again, and years later a man was found in his sleeping bag, again with no head. While this might seem like the work of some senseless killer, it's important to note that natives in the area fled the land a few years prior to the first deaths, and other native tribes have actively avoided the lands for centuries. Perhaps they knew something those poor men who lost their heads didn't. Many people who have visited the area reported finding large bipedal animal tracks, hearing loud roars and breaking branches, and smelling sulfur and rotten fish, despite being quite far off from the riverbeds. All telltale signs that Bigfoot is near.
So this image was posted to Reddit by user PHFM
The
4
fuck
months
is
ago,
that?
with the caption reading, "Friends trail cam in North Carolina." Now, I would be pretty alarmed knowing this thing was lurking around in the dark anywhere near me. The immediate thought is, well,
Yes.
that doesn't look right. This is a hairy creature.
Looks like a chimpanzee. Does somebody have a pet chimp that got out? Or from a zoo? Because it's not that big, it looks like. It doesn't look like it would be something like you would mistake for a Sasquatch being like 7 feet tall. That looks short. Probably less than 5 feet.
Standing on two legs must be Bigfoot. Well,
No, it looks like a
probably not. I
chimpanzee.
mean, this could easily be a black bear. Bears do stand
Maybe
on
a
their
bear.
hind legs, and it could be
But it looks like
hunching
it's
over,
slowing
which
down.
is why you can't see its head. But even still, there's just something creepy about this image.
It is. It could be a bear. The feet make it seem like it's probably a bear. Like the back feet. Maybe.
It
Maybe.
just looks oddly human to me. It's the best way I can describe it. What do you think, though? Bear, Bigfoot, werewolf, skinwalker, and mid-transformation? Let us know in the comments. Back in
There's
July
that
of this
countdown
year,
again.
the
What's
Instagram
going on?
account Lower Florida Bucks posted this series of images here with the description reading, "I've had some strange trail cam pics sent in through the years, but these
Looks like a
from
naked
Robert's
dude.
Bubble might just take the cake." He got pics of this person
Oh.
slash creature on two separate cameras and swears they're legit. He also said these were taken on a property 12 miles from the nearest town. What do y'all make of it? And
There's got to be a shit ton of crazy, drugged up people in the woods near towns, right? I mean, just say 12 miles, but still. If you're on some real heavy drugs, I'm sure you can travel 12 miles in a couple hours. No problem. And he looks naked, too. That's
a very
another
good
thing that
question.
makes
What
me
do you
think he's
make
on
of
drugs.
whatever this is? It's hard to make anything out because of how blurry the figure is. Clearly, it was darting around at a good speed. I
And
can't
naked.
say this, though.
It
It
look-
doesn't look human. At least
Are you
not
It looks 100% human. Just really blurry and naked.
exactly. This next Reddit post is from 2 months back. JT245 writes, "Hello. After looking at some old photos from a trail camera, I noticed a silhouette in the background.
So this? Because that looks weird, but it also looks like it could be a tree. Maybe.
In a white spot
Oh,
on the
no,
second
it's gone.
photo. My brother was alone and has no explanation. What are your theories?" Now, take a real close look at these images and see if you can spot anything. It's hard to notice at first.
It was
Look at
over
the
here, right?
middle
Yeah, I was
right-hand
right.
side of the first image. We'll zoom in and circle it for you. Okay, so it's a shape that sort of has a form you might be able to recognize as a
Yeah,
person, maybe.
kind of.
This wouldn't be all that strange on its own,
Except
but
it's
now
gone
take
in the second
another
picture.
look at the second picture.
Yeah.
Whatever that shape is, it isn't there anymore. Now, I couldn't spot the white spot the uploader described in the second picture, but if you can find
White
it,
spot?
let us know down in the comments.
What do you mean white spot? Besides the white spots from the poorly cropped out red circle here. I don't know.
Described in the second picture, but if you can find it, let us know down in the comments. But that figure is kind of strange. It's pretty small. Some people have said it looks like almost maybe it could be a fae. I don't know. So this next story may be not a creature captured on trail cam, but it's equally, if not more disturbing. This woman here was captured on a deer cam in the woods, going back and forth in the dark for hours.
In the dark?
Barefoot.
Looks pretty bright.
The owner of the property was pretty alarmed when he saw the images, making a post online about it, reading, "Does anyone recognize this girl/woman? She appeared on my trail camera in July of this year at 5 a.m. She was barefoot and appears to be running. She isn't in any trouble with me, just curious who she is, what she was doing, and if she's okay. If you recognize her, please message me. I have been baffled by this for a month, mainly because the woods can be tough walking with boots. I contacted police as soon as I discovered the photos. They were baffled as well." Now, some commenters say she may just have been on a
Going
run,
for a
but
shoeless run.
apparently there are
Kinda
no
looks like
trails
it.
nearby, and the area she was running in has a thicket that the property owner's dog won't even go through. It's just thick vegetation. No one would be wandering through there, especially at night barefoot.
You never know. I mean, the outfit she was wearing makes it look like she was just on like a run. It looks like that just looks like full-on exercise attire, except minus the shoes. Maybe she's sleepwalking. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen some people sleepwalk, but they go. Like, they just move, some people. They're just all over the place, and they have their eyes wide open, so it's really creepy, and you can't tell they're actually just sleepwalking, but yeah. I mean, she could be sleepwalking. It's 5 a.m., middle of the night, barefoot in the forest. That could be a possibility. I mean, if you step on something really sharp, that might hurt and wake you up, but I don't know. But yeah, no, she might just be sleepwalking or late night exercise. I don't know.
There are no trails nearby, and the area she was running in has a thicket that the property owner's dog won't even go through. It's just thick vegetation. No one would be wandering through there, especially at night barefoot. So it's just all very
I was gonna say, if it's like in the middle of summer, is 5 a.m. really that dark? I feel like that sun would start to be peeking over the horizon.
strange and kind of concerning. At
Yeah,
the
no,
time of this
sleepwalking.
recording, Redditor Apart Operation 329 just made this post a little over a week ago with the caption, "Humanoid found on trail cam." They
Ooh,
went on to
another one.
write, "My
Oh.
friend sent this to our group chat a while back. I don't know why I just now bothered to post it, but I wanted to know if anyone here could identify this thing. We can't tell if it's a person or not. Not sure if this is the right sub to put this in, but any
That
help
is weird.
appreciated." Now, what we see here is immediately off-putting. To me, this thing looks way too strange and thin to be human, but a lot of commenters mention that the figure does look like a human woman, just a really thin woman
Yeah.
who probably isn't okay.
Probably not. It looks like the legs are really thin here, but that's only the white. It looks like it starts here, and this is also part of the leg. And she's like covered in dirt and grime, and so those black splotchy areas is just nasty dirt. But what is this? They can't be an arm. Are they holding a stick? Why does it look like she's like taking a picture with a camera, phone, of the trail cam? It's I mean, it does look like a person that's been rolling around in dirt, minus whatever the fuck this is, unless that's just the stick they're carrying. But
Looks
yeah,
like she
no.
may have wounds on parts of her body, and she's clearly emaciated. Some think this person may have needed help, and that the uploader should contact the police, but I
Probably.
don't know what good that will really do. Personally, it's hard to make anything out from this image, and it's from 2022. So this was someone in distress. I Just hope they made it home okay.
Probably not. Could have been somebody on like freaking drugs as all hell too. That's what I'm gonna throw out most of those trail cans of people, human-looking creatures walking around. I'm just gonna attribute it to heavy drug use. But yeah, no, it was definitely interesting. I do love cryptid stories. It's a lot of fun to listen to and watch. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hopefully I can find more videos like this. So yeah, until next time, y'all. Thanks for watching with me, and goodbye.